Evening, Saturday morning.
Hey,
We're
it's that
back.
time of the day.
It is that time of the day, time of the week. And speaking of time of day, hey, I even got water everywhere.
Yeah,
Today
Hashimoto as
is
well.
today's flavor is get my face out of it. Passion fruit. Why
Okay,
not? It's because it's
so
all
is
they
that like
had.
Fanta?
No, it's just sparkling water
Okay,
with a taste, but yeah, whatever. By the way, if you don't know who we are, my name is Darren Pope. This over here is Victor Farsick, and we are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox. And on Fridays, we do this live. Most Fridays. We missed last week due to me being out. And last week was my birthday, too. But that wasn't the
happy
reason why I was
birthday.
out. Thank you. I'm now 892.
But you know, if you don't tweet, nobody knows your birthday anymore.
I don't tweet. It's
Then
all
that's
automated.
that's why I didn't tell you happy birthday on your birthday day.
I know. Well, I had some people reach out to me on LinkedIn, which was very nice. But anyway, Fridays we do this live show, and today we got some news. Interesting news.
Let's hear the news.
Before we get to the news, we need to talk about one thing. We need to talk about this week's episode of the podcast, which comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET. Understanding why gates exist in business. Now, you said one thing in this, and I've been thinking about it because I actually listened to it on my walk yesterday, day before. I listened to it. And you said something to the effect of you can't just willy-nilly take things out. That hasn't stopped anybody in the past.
But I think that people are more, yeah, somebody sometimes removes willy-nilly things, but more often than not, people are afraid to remove the things that they should remove. That's more common than the other way around.
Yeah, I agree. But, it's still funny what some people will do and what they think is okay. So, gates. I get frustrated with gates. And I picked this picture out because you can't really see it in the share here. But you notice there's no fence on either side of the gate. Usually, if you can figure out if there's no longer a fence there, the gate can probably be taken down.
So is it gate like kind of a test of intelligence? Hey, if you cannot figure out how to bypass this gate, then actually the gate is a good thing for you.
Could be. That's a whole different conversation. We should get like a organizational psychologist to come on and talk about things like that. I know somebody that actually does organizational psychology. That's a thing.
That would be actually very interesting to bring somebody from outside of the industry, right?
Yeah. I can reach out to that guy.
Yeah.
I bought enough of his books. Maybe he'll come on and do a podcast. That's a longer story for a different day. Okay. Let's get into the real news for this week. You were talking about Twitter a few moments ago. Amit, who happens to be the guy behind KubeNS and KubeCTX and a number of other projects, made this tweet this week. New Cloud Run feature, a single container instance now can handle 1,000 requests simultaneously. Now, this is in context of Google Cloud Run.
Correct.
And this means huge cost savings because you're not having to have more pods running to handle more requests. So you might be thinking, okay, so sure, 1,000, who cares? It was his follow-up tweet to this that made it more interesting. It was here, pay attention to Cloud Run because we're only relaxing the platform's limitations as we go. Started with 80, became 250, and now it's 1,000. There's a lot packed into this tweet.
Because there are really limitations on vendor side, in this case, Google side, and limitation on your side, your application, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going towards infinity. So probably not such a far future, the limit of how many concurrent requests you can serve through Cloud Run will be the limit of your application, not on Google side. Right now, it is Google side. Almost every application can handle 1,000 concurrent requests, right?
Right.
That's a very low figure. But they're going towards being the other way around.
But this is also interesting that Google, as one of the big three, at least from a US perspective, I don't know if they're one of the global big three or not, but at least from a US perspective, they're one of the big three. Notice how they release a platform and the feature set that's associated with that platform. And then compare that to how you are actually doing work in your own organization. They kept it clamped down, and they're little by little starting to open it up. A lot of times we don't have that option. So there's a lot to be learned in this. There's more to these two sentences than what he's just saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nothing implied about Google or anything else, but there's a lot of information there that would do a lot of organizations good if they would follow this pattern. Okay. I thought it was good, and I like talking about them. Now, I've seen some other tweets. If you haven't been reading his tweet stream, probably over the past, I'm trying to think, probably about the past 2 to 3 months, it's very interesting. So I'd recommend.
He's definitely one of the people everybody should follow.
Yes, hands down. We go from this to something a little more interesting. This actually just came out yesterday afternoon. AWS support for Internet Explorer 11 is ending.
Okay, I will need to ask here to stop you and ask a very silly question. What is the current version of Internet Explorer? How old is 11?
11 is old enough. And that's okay. I think it's Edge right now or something. I don't know what the real numbers are. I don't have a Windows. Actually, that's a lie. I do have a Windows machine. It hasn't been turned on in over a year. But there are going to be a lot of corporations that are still running IE11.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It was released in October 2013.
13. So it's 8 years old.
But imagine now this then. That means, yes, there are corporations using Internet Explorer 11. But that means that there are corporations whose employees are using like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old laptops. Right? I'm guessing now because I'm not using Windows that probably in the last 5 years it doesn't come with Internet Explorer 11 pre-installed, right?
No. Well, not new, but if an organization already has images that they use to bake their laptops, it may.
Yeah, but then that would be a disaster on top of a disaster.
Different conversation for a different day. And then they go through all the details of how it's going to work. So they're actually discontinuing a year from now, like full on done. But now, and of course, this has happened over time. People, what is it, bud? My wife just got home and the puppy's wanting to go downstairs. So I might have to disappear in a second. Sit. He's ignoring me. That's fine. Everybody else is sitting now.
Ignoring
right?
you.
Yeah, okay.
Of course. I mean, when you say with that voice, that was kind
Polite.
of basically you just said, "Can you please sit?" That was the tone of the voice.
Hey, sit. Good boy. Okay, there we go. Thank you for reminding me.
There you go.
Okay, wait. IE11, whatever. So this is a good example too for anybody that's developing web-based applications. If AWS says we no longer need to support it, maybe you can start walking away from it as well.
If anything, I would like things like this to be happening more frequently, because there are companies who replace stuff only when there is end of life. So if we change end of life of something being from 10 years to 5 years after it was released, then we would be doing those companies a favor because they would be updating more frequently.
Yep. So I thought that was semi-interesting, but I want to let's go and move on. Linkerd. This was the one that sort of caught me off guard this week because I don't follow Linkerd that closely. But they graduated. They graduated.
Nice. Yep. They deserve it.
But what does this really mean? What does it really mean?
It means that... sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was about to say something uninformed, but basically it means that it is a reliable project that is battle tested and passed all the criteria for CNCF to say this is graduated. This is not experimental, basically.
But how does it mean? What does it mean for Istio? Nothing, right?
Nothing. Istio is not in CNCF, so it doesn't go through the same criteria. Basically, Istio is graduated or equivalent of graduated whenever the project itself says that it is, not when independent organization says that.
Yeah. Here's this long sentence here, and a stream of high-profile public defections to Linkerd from projects like Istio. So somebody from marketing got in on this, the writing of this. So,
hey, you need a bit of marketing as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But why is it ironically for Microsoft? I'm not following them that closely. Are they Istio shop or?
No, but I mean, Microsoft open sourced. What's it called?
Do they have their own service mesh?
No, it's the service mesh. No, they aren't they the primary people behind Open Service Mesh or whatever I can't remember the spec. What is the spec?
The one,
that one. Yes. I'm drawing a blank because I think it's Open Service Mesh. Here, let me just go check it out. Open Service Mesh. I think that's right.
No, it's not. It's something else.
Yeah, it's this. OSM.
You clicked it. Really?
I think so.
I think you clicked an ad. Go back.
Okay.
Is that ad? Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Continue talking. I will tell you in a second.
Okay. I think it's Open Service Mesh, but regardless. Anyway, with Linkerd graduating, that means now we have one part of the puzzle piece moved from one place to the other, and that part of the puzzle gets smaller and the other part gets bigger. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. Linkerd. Hey, I got a question for you. I'm just going to insert it right here. I was going to ask you afterwards, but I'll ask you now. I have noticed that you have started moving away from kind to K3S. Did I say that right?
K3D.
K3D.
Yeah. K3D is a distribution of K3S.
Right. Why? Why have you started doing that?
It's faster.
Okay.
And it uses less resources.
Oh, okay.
So kind of why not, right? I don't have a special reason. It's not that it's tremendously better than kind or anything like that. It's simply lighter and faster. That's the only reason.
Okay. That's what I was figuring because I was working on some stuff for next week and I was like, yeah, I need to ask him that. And it just came through my mind. So I was like, yeah. Yep. And Stefan called it right. Microsoft has the service mesh. So yeah, I thought that was interesting too, the way they had spelled it out, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Here's what I really want to talk about this week. Sysdig has now published their Kubernetes 122 blog post that you probably can't see it very well, but if you look right up here, you can see the page progress bar. It's not very big. This is a very, very long document, just like all of their other ones are. And in our last time we were together, which was 2 weeks ago, we talked about the things that were going away, which we'll see here in a minute. But the crew at Sysdig does a really good job of just analyzing it and making it really simple. So 56 enhancements, an increase from 50 in 121 and 43 in 120. So the project keeps getting bigger and bigger. 13 are going to stable, and 24 that are improving, and 16 that are completely new. We talked about PSPs going away. We already knew that. A rootless mode, yay, for security.
Yeah.
And set comp on by default. This is huge.
All good.
This is going to cause a lot of pain for a lot of people, though.
Hey, if it's going to hurt, better hurt now than later.
Yep. And I want to go ahead and go back down to... Well, this one was interesting. I didn't know it. Node swap support. Swap was a given, and by being supported, there's one less thing to worry about when you're using Kubernetes. I don't even remember what node swap support is. Do you?
I have no idea what it is.
Well, let's go figure it out. Oh.
Okay, swap memory. Okay.
Swap memory.
Yeah. Never used it since moving to Kubernetes, but hey, yeah.
Yep. But then it gets into the deprecation, and we've talked about these before. Ingress, the CSR, nothing big deal. We knew these were leaving, so that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But there was one more I did want to call out, and we're not going to scroll all the way through this because I couldn't even scroll to the end of it. But the one that I thought was interesting that we had, again, talked about was cron jobs going from graduating to stable.
Yeah. Finally.
And it's not, and finally is the key word here. It was introduced in 1.4, and it's been beta since 1.8. So 14 releases to move from beta to stable. 18 releases since introduction. So, sorry, let me turn my phone off. I'm getting spam in the middle of a show. Why do spammers call during a show? Do they not know? That's fine.
I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but I don't see cron jobs being used much, to be honest.
Not much. But
there is a need for cron-like type of jobs, but I think that people tend to use, other solutions for that.
Yeah. But the thing I wanted to call out here is a lot of things are very slow moving to get to stable. And as things become legitimately stable, then that's something like before now, even though cron jobs were probably fine, I might have used them, but now I would feel comfortable using them without question.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I probably would have been fine with them at 112 or 111. So anyway, this goes on and on and on. So after the show today, the description down below this video will have all the links to everything we're talking about, including this. So what's new in 122? There's a lot. PSP replacement and all the other things. I'm not even halfway through this yet. So I'll let you do that. This will be a nice time to curl up with a beverage of your choice and just walk through it. Now, at the same time this week, it was this week, Cosign 1.0 came out. Now, we've talked about Cosign in the past to where it's for signing signing container images. Seems to be a big deal in this time that we're living in now.
Oh, yeah.
So now now that they're at 1.0, that means they're not going to break anything ever in the future, right?
Never again.
Okay. But anyway.
That kind of, even though everybody is using semantic versioning, we all know that those numbers are half of the time random, more marketing based than anything else. Which I'm not saying anything bad about Cosign, but things become version 1, version 2 randomly.
Usually, yeah.
Usually.
Okay, so if you're into supply chain, this may be of interest to you. If you don't know what supply chain is, you will soon know. Because that's pretty much anybody's talking about right now. And should have been talking about since the dawn of time. Okay, anyway, Cosign 1.0 all out. What was this next one? Oh, yeah, Deckhouse.
What's that?
We've talked about... Now, for the people at the company, please forgive me. I don't know if it's Flant or Flant. I don't know. So I'm going to say Flant for now because it doesn't sound as Flant sound as bad. So Flant. So it's basically, the way I'm reading it, it's a PaaS-ish thing that lives on Kubernetes. And I want to go down to the points here that they called out. What is Deckhouse? It's a platform, not a cluster. Everybody knows how much I like the word platform. If you don't, I don't. Where is the comparison? Here it is. Okay. So this is how they explain the analogy that their CTO says. What is vanilla Kubernetes? It's an empty apartment. Okay. Fair enough, right? That's a good analogy. Can you live in it? Yes, you can. But it's not going to be comfortable or pleasant. In most cases, you'll also need furniture, decoration, and some household supplies. Agreed. Deckhouse is a fully furnished apartment with everything you need to enjoy. Okay, we're talking Kubernetes. It will never be comfortable or carefree. But in the case of an apartment, life. So platforms, in quotes, seems a more appropriate usage in this case. And I do, in that point, I do agree.
Oh, yeah.
OpenShift belongs to roughly the same category, and fill in the blank. And I like how they go here. Sometimes people confuse platform offerings by GKE, AKS, EKS, that they're the same, and it's not. That's still just, that's basically, going back to the apartment.
There's still that empty apartment.
It is still in an empty apartment, but at least there, the, not the landlord, the superintendent is basically living in there with you. That's the difference.
Exactly. Changes the light bulbs, but only in the hallway, not in your apartment.
Potentially.
At least, yeah.
Potentially, because if it's a managed node, then yeah, it's going to. He's just, you don't have to call him. He's going to know there. It's got some IoT in it, and when the light bulb goes out, he's going to know about it, and he'll go in and fix it. Right. That's the managed offering. So anyway, this looks pretty interesting. And again, much like most of the things I deal with, I haven't had time to work with it yet. Based on CRDs. Okay. Infrastructure agnostic. Yay. Supported cloud providers. What don't I see here? I don't see on-premise. That's okay. But anyway, all the different things here. But I did want to call out one more thing at the top. Deckhouse currently helps us maintain over 170 production clusters, 3,500 plus nodes, with more than 3,000 applications running. So it seems like it's battle tested to an extent. You're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, based on those numbers, but those are not also such a big numbers as it looks like, right?
Right.
3,500 nodes you can easily fill with a couple of companies.
Yeah, I mean, if you do just the basic math on this, that means it's basically 20 nodes per cluster if I'm doing the math right.
Yeah.
On average, on the low side. So.
Okay, yeah. I think that the main, when you look at the graphs above, kind of basically there are platforms, there are too many, I would even say, offers like that. It's kind of, they're popping like mushrooms after rain, right? Every second day I hear about yet another Kubernetes platform that puts all the tools you might need, to manage your Kubernetes cluster. What makes them potentially special, at least based on description, I haven't used it yet, is that they seem to be a managed Kubernetes platform. So it's not kind of, here's a platform, run this script and it will install Prometheus and Grafana and, set up, put the furniture into your apartment. But they seem to be managing. And that's probably answering why it's not on-prem.
Right. So this is the picture of it, of what, so they're adding, you were saying it, Prometheus Grafana has these things ready to go, party classes, ingress, Istio. It's interesting they chose Istio. Nothing against Istio, but it's just interesting. Oh, this is nice, actually.
The most commonly used one.
Yeah, it is. This is interesting. Accessing the cluster, you have a dashboard, and you also have OpenVPN. That's really smart. But then I don't know what all that tells me. That could tell me a number of different things, I guess. But just looking at some of these bullets here, these are all pretty interesting things that...
Pretty interesting, but also pretty standard, more or less. I can
Yes.
probably come up in 5 minutes with 25 other platforms that have almost the same description. To me, still, what makes this interesting is that it is a managed platform,
Right.
right? That's what makes it carefree, right? Not that somebody bundles Helm chart installs Prometheus, but hey, they're managing your cluster just as AWS EKS is managing what's outside that cluster, they're managing what's inside. And that's nice.
Yeah. Okay. So Deckhouse, now available. Sticking sort of in the vein of Kubernetes, which we never talk about Kubernetes, right?
Sorry, just one
Yeah.
question before you
Yeah.
move. Can you go back?
Yeah.
Why is there GitHub mascot there? Is that GitHub?
It is.
The Octos,
Octocat. Yeah. Interesting. Let's see here. I've been seeing that, but nothing really jumped out at me of...
Yeah, they don't seem to call it more than other things.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was curious if you knew. Nothing special.
No, nothing. It doesn't appear to be anything special other than the project is hosted on GitHub. So,
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, this new offering from Amazon. Now, this is Amazon only, so it also means EKS only. We have the ability to get more IP addresses per node. Magically. It's not magic.
Finally. That was a pain point for many.
Finally, but.
Okay.
The but of it is it only works with Nitro-based EC2 instances. So how many people have actually done Nitro-based EC2 instances in their current clusters?
Okay. Now I got
But-
disappointed.
No, but it's okay. I mean, if this is, they finally got
It's
it the first time, you have constraints, let's do it this way. That's okay. But this is what made me say this is good. Additionally, fewer network interfaces are required to allocate IP addresses for pods. True. Which allows clusters to scale out faster in response to usage spikes. That's the key point.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Their scaling was always a bit slow, and that might have been the reason.
yeah. So it's available in VPC CNI 1.9, but that also means you have to make sure you're running Nitro-based instance types. Which, why wouldn't you be using Nitro-based instance types now? You should be, I think. If you're running EKS, why shouldn't you? I mean, I don't know. You may have some different workloads, but that would be in a different node pool. But for your general purpose
Exactly.
nodes, why not use the things that are going to be cheaper? Yeah, okay. A couple of tools that I saw today, or this week. KubeExplorer. Now, sadly, it's in Rust. It's proof of concept, but here's the thing. It discovers and prints out any config maps and secrets not linked to any of the following resources. So orphans. It's finding orphans. That's a good thing.
That's a very good thing. And why sadly in Rust?
Sadly in
I
Rust,
mean,
because
as a user, you don't care, right? It's not like Python that you need Python installed. It's compiled. I know. Oh my. Okay. Move on.
okay, there are for Linux. There are binaries for Linux, but not for other platforms. But that's okay for the moment. That's okay for the moment. Again, POC. Look at the dates on these files. Come on.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right? Just he shipped, right? That's okay. I'm not going to beat him up too much. We can see here that there are 4 assets, and we can see there's the binary.
Fair enough. First release. I'll start yelling in 3 months.
Yeah. But does a tool not exist that already does this? It seems like this should be a kubectl baked in thing.
Yeah, I mean, more likely in plugin for kubectl, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. I really appreciate when tools of this type end up being a kubectl plugin. So instead of me having 57 random tiny CLIs, hey, just kubectl, whatever is the name of the project, think of whatever should be the prefix, and that's it.
Yep. But again, he's doing it can you do kubectl plugins in non-Go, in languages other than Go?
I think you can, because they end up being binaries in the
Anyway.
plugins directory of kubectl.
Right. Okay. Anyway, KubeExplorer. I'm calling it KubeExplorer. I don't know if it's KubExplorer. I'm calling it KubeExplorer. Whatever it is.
Cool.
I like this though. I like where he's going with this. So that's project 1. Project 2. Kate's Secret Gen. I like the org name, Oxpace. Oxpace. Again, let's give them some leeway. It's 5 days old.
Nice.
It is Python. So deep breath. Docker image, run it that way. That's fine. But it idempotently generates secrets for Kubernetes. So you create a file named this. You give it a name and a key. And then you run it, and it generates it. It generates the secrets for you.
Oh man, wait, go down. Sorry for a second. I mean, I would really suggest the authors that they put those keys as arguments for CLI. I would rather use them as arguments. I don't want anything on any file like that.
And why do you
Then
say
I forget
that?
to put it. Then I forget to put that in git ignore, and it ends up being in my repo. I'm guessing that Kate's secrets YAML shouldn't be in my repo with the key.
Why?
Why would it be? Should you
Yeah.
store keys? I mean, that you should have a generated secret.
Oh,
that
generate secret. Yeah.
But keys themselves, no.
Yeah. If we're understanding it, yes, I agree with you. I need to run this and see how it looks. I'll do this when I set up K3D later today and see what happens. Dang, I gotta get Python installed. That's fine. Anyway,
The problem is not having Python installed. I'm constantly struggling with. I got new Mac and it comes with Python 2, and I always forget how to install Python 3 in parallel with Python 2, and it's always problematic. I have nothing against Python. I understand how those things are trivial for Python developers, but I'm not a Python developer.
Yeah. Nor am I. Which is why I always break out Docker and run Python in a container when I need to use Python.
Yeah.
Like really run it anyway.
I think the next are videos, but there is one thing that, I don't know, did we talk about Hashimoto leaving the position of being CTO or whatever he was in HashiCorp?
We did not. So Mitch Hashimoto stepped down from his C-level, here, while we're talking, he stepped down from his C-level at HashiCorp to
Individual contributor, just as a, dare I say it, he's just now a grunt. Yeah.
Doing what he wants to do. I'm gonna find it here in just a minute, because if my computer...
In case of almost anybody else, I would call that BS, right? Marketing thing. I would say probably there's something they're going terribly wrong. Investors kicked him out and all that stuff. But in case of Mitchell, whatever is his name,
Mitchell.
I'm convinced that that's really what he wanted. That
Yeah.
he likes being a grunt. He likes writing code, and he was in that position due to necessity more than anything else.
Yeah. That's true. This happened since we didn't have a show last week. It's a good call. No longer be an exec. Now, here's a key part to this. This is something we've been planning for years. This was planned. So, and there was a whole big blog post about it as well.
Yeah. I mean, he founded the company. It's extremely successful company. And he accomplished his mission, right? And he can now do whatever makes him happy, which is takes a lot of courage to do that.
Absolutely, it does. Let's see. There was one other one here that I saw that was interesting. Do I have a dope title? Do I have influence? Those are things that don't matter to me, but could matter to you. This is why careers aren't some fixed linear path.
Exactly.
Do I have a dope title? That's pretty funny. Do I have influence? I believe everybody has influence in one way, shape, or form. Right?
I mean, that's the thing. His influence was not because he's see something of HashiCorp. His influence is because he is he.
Yes.
Just as, I mean, there are other people in that position. Like, probably, I bet that 98% of the people do not know what is Kelsey Hightower's title.
Right. Which you
And I
saw
think,
recently. He changed too, right?
Yeah, he's going out of DevRel area into more customer based. But that would be another example of, hey, you don't need a dope title to be respected.
Yep. So, congratulations to Mitchell. Okay, while we're here, Framework Laptop. Let's give them a little bit of press because I haven't seen it. But early reviews seem great. Not something I'd hop on to full time yet, but a big fan of the concept. Well, what is the concept? Let's go take a look. Thank you, Mitchell, for telling us what to do today. A high performance, thin, and lightweight light notebook designed to last. Looks very much like a.
Wait, that's Mac.
It looks like a MacBook Air, yeah.
And that's Mac background.
No, it's a Mac background, but that's a Windows key right there.
Okay.
You can maintain it yourself, it looks like, or a DIY. 13-inch, so it's the same profile as one of the older MacBook Airs. iFixit, CNET, Linus Tech Tips. Our mission, okay. Here, let me zoom this in a little bit because it's really small for me to even see, and I'm right here in front of it. For consumer electronic products that are designed to last. There's been a big thing going on about right to repair in the States. I don't know if that's happening everywhere else or not, too.
Probably.
But, yeah, it's right to repair is a big deal now. So there's now shipping. Okay, here, let's go see how much one can actually be. Oh, sad. Okay, let's do this. Laptop. I don't want to DIY it. Configure now. This is what I care about. You have to spend $100. Okay, good. Windows 10 Home. Sad. Performance. Okay, here we go. Professional. Here we go. Ooh. i7, 32 gig of RAM, terabyte of storage. Windows 10 Pro. Whatever.
But you know what's the problem with that is that
Too good.
M1 chips blew all that
I know.
out into the water.
Yep. I'm waiting
Kind of
for.
we need people need something that is not Apple but based on similar types of chips, because I just got my new 13-inch MacBook. Man, it's fast.
Is it so it's
man,
an M1?
it's fast. M1, yeah.
Have you edited any videos on it yet?
Not yet. It's supposed to be lightning fast if you're using Final Cut, not necessarily if you're using Premiere.
Other things, right? Which would make sense at this point still, because I know Adobe is going through their whole suite and optimizing as they can. I wish our friend that works at Adobe could talk about those things. But that's not the part of Adobe he works in. That would be very interesting to know. Okay. Are we ready for videos? Now
Yeah.
you've slowed your video production down to 1 a week for the time being, right?
Oh, it might be for a long time being. I simply cannot. The rhythm was killing me because I still have 40 hours a week type of job, like
Of real
everybody
work.
else.
Exactly.
And it takes like, realistically, it takes, I'm throwing numbers because I don't know, but it takes at least 15 hours to make a video, including, if you start from scratch, hey, I need to figure out this, I need to write a script, I need to test 57 times. And that's already more than a day. And then recording, editing, all the stuff, it's easily 2 days. I need to sleep.
Yes. And I'm glad you're slowing down a little bit. You need to. And especially the way that you recently changed how you were editing. You're throwing in other things and not doing the head over the top, which is still what I'm doing. But KubeSphere. Now, I actually saw some notes about KubeSphere, but I didn't put them in today's show notes because I wanted to dig through them a little bit more. But KubeSphere, what did you think? Because this sounds a little bit like Deckhouse, but not really at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know the history behind KubeSphere, but it looks to me as if it's something that started a long time ago, potentially on Docker, and then it was eventually transformed into Kubernetes. There are some leftovers from the past, which are likely decisions that the authors wouldn't make today, right? And that's a very tough position because new projects like that are popping every single day. And it might be a disadvantage to have the history, legacy in that area. And they do have a lot.
Yeah. So KubeSphere, yeah, it's what it is. Take a look at it.
It's interesting. It's worthwhile checking it out.
Yeah, and they had a blog post this week. I'll make sure I include these in the notes. Let me make a note of it so I don't forget. Where they've officially announced their, how's it saying? Introducing the KubeSphere open source Kubernetes platform. An overview of this platform on a local installation. Here, let me just go and pop it over here where I'm sharing. Just so everybody sees it. And render. There we go. So, again, you introduce it and then install a local cluster and KubeSphere inside of it, and then you're done. And then off you go. You have the App Store, which is what you talked about in the video.
Yep.
This was a system to where you could install DevOps, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand we all have marketing departments, we all do those things, but whenever I see install DevOps or something in that direction, doesn't end up well.
Now, I like how their information how their definition of installing DevOps is. In case you haven't watched the video yet, it was installing Jenkins. So it was cool and also funny a little bit at the same time. But anyway, it looks interesting. And here's how to create a local one node cluster with KubeKey. Did you do anything with KubeKey?
I don't know. What's KubeKey?
I don't know. Let's see. Multipass. Boy, there's a lot of names here I don't know. KK. Use KubeKey to create a one node cluster. KK with cluster. KK is a script. Okay. Interesting.
So KubeKey is something from Cubesphere.
From
itself.
KubeSphere. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to drag this one out anymore, but okay. Something to look at. But then DevSpaces, or DevSpace, singular, sorry. I said that wrong.
DevSpace, yeah. DevSpace is cool. It's scaffold type of tool. So if you use scaffold, you know immediately what DevSpace does. It's really nice. I really liked it. It's a tiny tool. And I'm starting to, in a Hall of Fame of companies, Loft is slowly coming towards the top in my book. They're doing some really cool stuff.
Why do you say that?
I mean, DevSpace is really good, and Virtual Clusters is really good, and they have quite a few other projects that are also good. Potentially very good commercial offer as well. They bought DevSpace. I think the DevSpace was not developed there. They bought it, and it's a good choice to buy given their portfolio and what they're trying to do. I dig the company.
Cool. A friend of mine sent this site over to me. This isn't in the notes, so you haven't seen this. It's a site called thisstartupdoesnotexist.com. And this startup is DAO calling as a service. And here's the team of DAO. And you want billing. They have 3 tiers. DAO is just more than a calling, so marketing got their hands on it. Learn more about it. You can subscribe to their mailing list. And here's some clients of DAO.
So what is it? This is suspense.
Well, wait a second. Remember, this startup does not exist. You ready?
Okay.
Let's refresh the page. Transism.
I love it.
Get your grocery supply by the badly paid people because you're too lazy. Let's meet the team of Transism, the clients of Transism. Transism is the new Instagram. And just because you can't do just 2 things, let's do it one more time. Thisstartupdoesnotexist.com. Doolith. Produce original and exclusive content.
That is so cool.
Again, everybody has 3. What's pretty funny is you get a single workspace, unlimited public projects. If you go through and watch this pricing thing changes too, which is pretty funny. Not just the pricing, but the bullets change. Doolith is the new Tinder. But isn't this true? Isn't this the way that you see a lot of startup sites?
Yeah, I mean, startups keep popping. And it's good, right? That's how we get innovation. But sometimes I have a feeling that there might be too many.
No, it's not possible. There can never be too many startups. And by the way, keep talking for a second. I'm going to let Oakley out. Come here, bud.
I don't know what to talk about.
Well, just talk about something. He's going to run out right now, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it might be because I'm following startups more than before, but I have the impression that the rate of new startups is increasing, which is kind of contradictory because I thought that with .com boom, we would see kind of like drop from there on, that was the peak, but it wasn't.
I think the reason why we're seeing a lot of startups right now is because of the pandemic. I can say that word safely.
Yeah.
I think that's caused a lot of change because people are leaving their normal day jobs. What they've had is a normal day job. They're looking for something new. A startup sounds good. They're tired of dealing with the 9 to 5. So now that instead of working a 9 to 5, they're working from 6 till midnight.
Yeah. But it's also, most of them get some seed money, right? So it's not only that because of pandemic, I'm at home, so I create a new startup, but somebody's funding it. Unless that's affected by pandemic, kind of like people with money are bored and then they want to fund even more stuff.
I've seen that happening too.
Could be.
The rich have been getting richer and the poor have been getting poorer in a lot of cases. So there has been extra money. Before cryptocurrency went completely south, that money was huge. But anyway. So I haven't started editing. Actually, no, I already have the podcast edited for next week. I don't even remember what it's about. That was the one where I was able to get a lot done in one weekend. But we should be back on our normal schedule now. All of my personal stuff is pretty much over with right now. I hope.
But you will not see this ambient in my case for at least a month.
So that's what I was getting ready to ask, is you're getting ready to head out. So we're
I'm
still doing
going-
shows?
Yeah, still doing shows, still doing everything. I even bought paint to paint the basement.
Is it
We'll see how.
okay? It's not green screen paint, is it? Please
No,
don't say
no,
it's green screen. Okay, good.
gray. I think it's going to be probably
Gray, like- sort of like
not
that.
very different than what you see here.
Okay.
Fraction of it somewhere there. Yeah.
Are you taking your iMac with you?
I'm taking. No, I kind of like. I got so used to permanent setup that my tiny iMac, I have 20-inch. That's kind of like for moving around. But over there, I have my old MacBook Pro. I like the idea now that I don't move the computer. Kind of like
Right. So it's still there.
glued to the desk.
Got it. So you'll be there for 4 weeks.
4 or 5, yeah.
I just can't relate, man. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I know you're still working, but it's just weird to go somewhere else for that amount of time. To me,
Yeah,
I can't relate.
kind of.
But that's normal for you. That's normal.
Yeah,
It's August.
To me, that house is as much home as this one, right?
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's good. Don't forget to take your microphone with you, though. Take your old one with you.
Not this. I'm not bringing this one though.
Do you going
But
to take
I
your
am
old one?
bringing the one that is on the camera.
Do you not have that old AT 2020 anymore? USB
Oh
one?
yeah, that one is there already. Yeah.
Oh, it's already there. Okay, good. In case
Yeah.
we're going to have to record some podcasts while you're down there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have.
You've got that one there. Okay, good. That's all that matters because
Oh, yeah.
the camera one won't work as well.
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
For that purpose.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
have
good.
it.
Well, then, am I holding you up from going to that place right now?
No, tomorrow.
Are you leaving today? No. Okay,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Why don't you leave today?
Because I have one more meeting and then it's kind of 9 o'clock and I don't want to arrive there at kind of 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's a
It's
couple hours.
depressing.
And you have to ride, not drive, because you don't own a
Yeah.
car, right?
I do.
Oh, you do own a car. I didn't think you
Oh
owned a
yeah,
car. Oh, okay.
the
Never
cheap
mind.
one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. We're giving out too much personal information right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's that tiny Kia Rio. You know the
Oh, that's right. We've talked
the
about
type
that
of the
before.
car that is considered the toy car in your country.
Yeah. Oh, works for me. It's paid for, I would assume. Yes. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. It's paid for. That's the type of
Exactly.
car it is. Just like all of mine, except mine is in the shop right now. I'm supposed to get it back today. I was driving somewhere the other day and I had a sidewall blowout. I looked at the tire. The hole was as big around as the lens is here. So it was probably 2 inches across. Just, but anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are actually talking about taking the weekend off.
Exactly.
I hope, I wish, but not so much. So anyway, if you're still with us here live, thanks for hanging out with us live today. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up before you leave. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click on subscribe, ring the bell, do the things. And we should be back next Friday, barring anything really bizarre happening. My schedule is pretty normal again now. Yours is going to be second house level normal. Are you going to have it painted by the time you get down there? Or get by next week?
The plan is for me to paint it over this weekend. I mean, that room only, the basement.
Yeah.
But knowing my ability to do handiwork, that might end up being painted next year. We'll see.
Yeah. Stefan, yeah, so DevSpace is nice. I used it, impressed. Neil, thanks for joining us live today. And for everybody who reached out to me about last week on my birthday, thanks for reaching out. I appreciated it. It's been one of those weird years. And it was nice hearing from some people. So I won't start crying again. Can't do that. I'm a guy, right? I can't cry. No, that's not true. But we will see everybody next week. Be sure to be watching for the podcast coming out on Wednesday. It's going to be a great one. I have no idea what it's about because I did it 3 weeks ago. But it's great. Now, the one coming out after that, I can tell you, that's the one I am editing this week. We did an interview with a guest. That was pretty darn amazing. We could have talked with her probably for a couple of hours. And that one's going to be, we'll have to bring her back again. I'm not going to say her name out loud. She'll get mad at me.
Okay.
She's your favorite person at a previous employer.
It's not my daughter.
It's not your, yes, at a previous employer.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, And also, okay, you know who I'm talking about, so I won't say anything else. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you again next week.